Check this out. I've synced Airtable to Notion in just minutes, letting me push sales data straight into Notion for project and task management. In this video, I'll show you how to sync Airtable and Notion using Whalesync. Maybe you're using Airtable for sales and Notion for project management. This allows you to easily sync real-time data that lives in Airtable into Notion so that any new information is updated without the need for triggers or workflows. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm in Airtable and I just want to quickly show you how things are set up here. So let's say I'm managing my opportunities in Airtable. So this is kind of acting as my sales CRM. And I have next steps here for my deals. I have the opportunity name, I have the stage that it's in, priority, and the account. And you can see here with account, it's actually a relationship property. We have it's connected to this tab accounts here. And if you click on it, you can see information about that. So that's something to keep in mind while you're syncing data as well. And now if I go into Notion, I can see I have my tasks here. So let's say I would like to manage all of my next steps and all of my tasks related to deals that I have in Airtable. I want to manage those tasks in here. So anytime that I fill in next steps or update next steps, I wanted to just sync over into Notion. And so I have a couple of properties here, not all of them because I don't need all of them, but I do need the key data points so that I know what these tasks are related to and what these tasks are about. So let's get started with the Whalesync sync. So I'm going to click on New Sync and I'm going to select Airtable, authorize, add a base, sales CRM, grant access, save, and now I'm going to select Notion, select pages, team spaces, just make sure that the page that you want to sync into is checked off here so that Whalesync has access. Okay, save and continue. And now I'm going to create my table mappings. So first, I'm going to select all opportunities. That's my table, opportunities, and that's going to go in my tasks in Notion. And then accounts are also going to sync over into accounts in Notion because this is a relationship field and I do want that information in my Notion as well. So create table mappings. Whenever you are planning to create a relationship between two objects, you want to create those table mappings from the very beginning. So at this point, that's when you want to create those table mappings. So if I want opportunities to be associated with certain accounts, those are a relationship. They have a relationship with each other. So that's why I created those two table mappings at once there. So now I'm in opportunities, priority, stage, opportunity name. Sounds about right. And then let's see, next steps, that's important of course. That will go into notes. And then let's see, account. That is something else I want to sync over. And I'm going to have to create a new field because as you can see here, there's no account field here. So I'm going to create a new field and it has to be a relationship field. And you can tell that it's a relationship field by this icon here. So copy fields. Okay. And that looks good. And now I only need this to sync over one way. I don't need the bidirectional sync in this case. I just want next steps to sync over into Notion. I don't need my Notion updates to necessarily go back into my sales CRM at this point. Now, of course, if you do need that, then you would set up that bi-directional sync. And you can see these two arrows, that's what that means. If you select the bi-directional sync here, you can also play around with it. So not everything needs to be a bi-directional sync. You can decide, okay, maybe this field, I just want it to sync over into Notion, but if I make any updates in Notion in opportunity name, I don't necessarily need that to also sync over into Airtable. So something to keep in mind, this arrow here means I'm syncing over info from Notion into Airtable. And then of course this one means I'm syncing over data from Airtable into Notion. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go into accounts. Just make sure that looks good. Same thing here, just a one-way sync. I just need the account name. I don't need any other information about it at this point. And if I go back into my Notion, I can see that account field was already created. So that's nice. You can literally just create fields within Whalesync as you're setting this up if it's easiest. Obviously try to have a good structure already so that you have a good idea of what you need to sync and don't need to sync in Whalesync, but you can also just create fields as you go along from here, which is really convenient. And then I'm going to select filter. I only need next steps or opportunity details in Notion if the next steps field is not empty. So if it is empty, then there's no next step / no task for me, which means I don't need it in my task list in Notion. I'm going to add just another condition. So you can also do deal stage does not contain closed, for example. So maybe I don't need to keep track of any tasks for closed deals at this point. So I'm going to filter those out as well. So I'm just going to go back and just make sure that everything looks good. Okay, looks good to me. So I'm going to click Save and Continue. And now it says some tables might have conflicting data. Resolve conflicts to avoid duplication of records. Okay, so let's resolve. Scan records, and this usually resolves itself pretty quickly once you scan records. Okay, so we can see here, it gives you an idea of how many records were found and how many are being excluded, which is especially helpful if you've created a filter, because if you see that the number looks way off, then you know something is wrong with your filter. And you'll have to go back in and just adjust that filter and the conditions that you've already set. But if all looks good, you can continue. Continue. Okay. So you can see as well, it shows you, okay, 17 records for accounts will be added, and then 20 records will be added as tasks. So maybe we have some deals that have the same account. So that makes sense. Confirm and activate sync. And now it's preparing to sync and running the initial sync, so we just have to wait a couple of moments. Okay, so our initial sync was completed, and that literally took about 30 seconds. So if I go into my tasks now, I can see that everything has synced over, which is great. Now I have these here that I had already created, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete them as it just created its own rows. And there you go. So I have opportunity name notes, which is what's in next steps here. I have the opportunity or deal stage, the status came in as to do, and then the priority, which is basically what I have here, medium, high, so on and so forth. And then I have this account field here as well. And again, this is a relationship property. So if I go to accounts, I can see all of the accounts and the related tasks here as well, which is nice. And it's especially nice if you do want to store some information about the accounts in Notion as well. But this was more of an example. I just want to show you kind of the relationship there. But yeah, all looks good, and that was super easy. I'll just go back into Whalesync, and I'm going to click continue. And so now it's at the point where it's waiting for changes. Let's say I go back into Airtable, and I'm going to, let me also see, let's see, BPS. Okay, so you can see BPS here. And by the way, this is all sample data. This was from a template that I created in Airtable. So you can see it says draft proposal, right? And now let's say that's changed. Loop in product team, okay? So I'll go back here, fetching changes, waiting for changes, running scan, and you can see here, it's updated and it just says loop in product team, which is what I inputted here. Hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment in this video. Thanks for watching and happy syncing.